Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Fate Reforged Swiss draft. We've got Scroll the Masters as our rare. I've played it. Very much a card that is not liked by many. I actually do like it, but I'm not going to first pick it because there's a pretty good chance that it wheels. I think we're just going to take the Valorous stance. Great card, versatile, protects from removal as well as a removal spell. So what more can you really ask for? Kill stuff or protect stuff. Both of those options seem really good. Certainly a fine first pick. Look at that. It even takes care of all the important creatures in this pack, like Great Horn Cruciak, Fierce Invocation, Feral Cruciak, Noxious Dragon. All of them die to Valorous Stance. So let's take it. I think this is actually the first time in... What draft am I up to now? 23 or something ridiculous like that? I think this is the first time in 23 drafts that I've actually gotten a Valorous Stance. How weird is that? All right, now we have Reach of Shadows, which is a fine second pick, since Black-White is very good. There's also Orc Sure Shot, which I like a lot, but I don't like as much as the Reach of Shadows. Yeah, I guess that's probably about it. I think we just take the Reach here. I mean, sure, that puts us in either Abzan or Mardu, or just Black-White, I guess, two color. I'm fine with that. Certainly not a white card in here worthy of second picking, so it really does come down to what do we want our second color to be. And I really do think it's the two most powerful cards in this pack are easily Reach of Shadows and, well, I guess Grim Contest and Orc Sure Shot. Those are all pretty good. But we're going to take the Reach of Shadows pretty happily here. Okay, third pick. So this is interesting. There's a Whisper of the Wilds. Got some feedback on the last draft that I did not pick this early enough, but I don't know what to say. I guess I like the card. I just maybe I just don't value it as high as other people do, I guess. I see a lot of the best common and green and stuff like that, but it's like, all right, I guess. I think I'm just going to take Douse and Gloom here. Seems like a good removal spell to have. I like Douse and Gloom. And beyond that, nothing too nuts otherwise. In white, Lotus Eye Mystics and Abzan Sky Captain are both fine. And actually, Arishan Cleric's probably fine too. Since this format's so aggressive, I'm going to say Arishan Cleric's an actual fine card. But we might be able to wheel it. Who knows? Something. I feel like we wheel something useful out of here. But for now, let's get the nice black removal spell. Okay, options now. Oh, wow. Elite Scale Guard going this late. This card is just absolutely ridiculously strong in my opinion. So happy to take that. We are taking it over to Sandstep Outcast, which I would also really like to take. Or another Arishan Cleric, which is also in here. I would say that's got to be a sign for white, right? This is easily a first pickable card. And someone took a common over it. Unless this was that... No, I think someone... Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know how the packs work. There is 3 uncommons left, though. And someone decided... 3 people decided to pass Elite Scale Guard, which is pretty remarkable, actually. This card is, like, could have been a rare, I think. But, yeah, we're easily taking this card out. In fact, it's been a while since I've gotten to play it, so I'm pretty happy that I got it here. Okay, so now I think I might just want to take Soul Summons because it's a 2-drop. There is Lotus Eye Mystics, which is good with our 3 other cards, but it's a 4-drop. We don't have any enchantments yet. I'm trying to think. Actually, I guess I do take Lotus Eye Mystics because since we're already in black, there's a chance we get Debilitating Injury. And I would say being able to return Debilitating Injury from your graveyard to your hand is pretty huge. So, granted, we are passing a 2-drop creature, which I think are just fantastic in this format. And overall, Lotus Eye Mystics is kind of a... It's not a bad card, but it's not an amazing card. But since we could get some Debilitating Injuries out of the next pack, if we're lucky, I think it's worthy of taking here. Get that value. All right. So, choices now. Pressure Point is a good tempo card, but I'm not exactly... We look like more of a control deck than a tempo deck. Like, I just straight up like Crippling Chill way more than I like Pressure Point. Getting that extra turn out of the tap is pretty huge. Could just take the Blossoming Sands. That opens us up for Abzan. And now that we have a really strong Abzan card in Elite Scale Guard, kind of like that, actually. Hero's Blade is actually a card I think is fine. I actually do like Hero's Blade. I think it's a pretty reasonable card. But this doesn't exactly look like the deck for it. I think I just take the Blossoming Sands. Okay. So, pretty easy Sandblast here. Awesome removal spell. Very happily picking that up over Blossoming Sands number 2, which would also be fine. And this is not a Map the Waste deck since we look like we're much more likely primarily white and black. But that does mean good things if we want to be like a warrior deck. And hey, you know what? We could actually be a 2-color deck. Hey, Harsh Sustenance, love that card. Looks pretty bad in this deck so far, but there's a chance that it can get much better. So, and what are we giving up for it? Nothing really. I guess Scoured Barrens would be good, but yeah, we're going to take Harsh Sustenance pretty easily there. Well, you know, I've been meaning to try a Goblin Boomkeg out. I don't think it's a great card, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to try it. It is removal, albeit a bit slow and expensive. But what am I'm giving up a Great Horn Cruciak or an Ancestral Vengeance, or I guess an Abzan Rune Mark. I'm going to take the Boomkeg. It doesn't look like a Rune Mark deck or an Ancestral Vengeance deck. And Cruciaks are just a dime a dozen, so I don't really care there. I think the strongest card here is the Hungering Yeti. The problem with it is it doesn't work well with the black-white shell, even if you end up in Mardu or something like that. Yeah, I'm really not sure any of these cards matter. Guess I could just cut white. All right, we tabled Arishan Cleric. I could take a second Lotus Eye Mystics, but I don't know. We don't have any enchantments currently, is that right? No enchantments. We look like with all this removal, I kind of want stuff that I'm going to take the Cleric. I actually like Lotus Eye Mystics. I'll take a second Cleric too. But I feel like the Clerics set us up for a good late game plan, like out of the cons packs. I guess my main issue with Lotus Eye Mystics is 4 mana for 2 toughness isn't the greatest. Abzan Rune Mark, I guess, looks a little bit better with double Arishan Cleric, though, so that's an option. Oops. Guess I could have taken a green card there instead of the Shifting Loyalties, but whatever. So a decent start. There's a Crackling Doom, which is fine. Anything else? Probably Feat of Resistance is just going to be better because it's a really strong card. I actually like Sultai Scavenger too. But I think I want the Feat of Resistance. I love this card. It's so good. I like Sultai Scavenger too. I really do. But I'm going to take the Feat. Protection, especially with Elite Scale Guard. I think it's just going to be better. Alright, there's our Debilitating Injury. I'm pretty tempted to just slam that here. There is a Merrick Nightblade, which is definitely good alongside Scale Guard as well. And Abzan Guide, which is just always amazing if you're an Abzan. But I can't pass up a Debilitating Injury if we have the Lotus Eye Mystics. I think that's a piece of synergy I do not want to pass up. And it's an excellent removal spell. We might be able to get away with black-white. You never know. It's very easily. All right, Dead Drop. I don't know. Let me think about how good Dead Drop is in this deck. We don't have any real self-mill, which is where Dead Drop's really going to shine. It's still it's a fine card. People think I undervalue it, but I kind of disagree. I think it's one of those cards that's like pretty good but not amazing. You ever play against any sort of like token build? I'll say I've had it save my life a couple times. Win me a couple games, I should say, rather than save my life. But, I mean, I guess I'm only giving up like a Krumar Bondkin and a Disowned Ancestor. I can take it. Like I said, this isn't a great deck for it since we're not really self-milling a lot, but I guess we have a good amount of other removals, so it might pan out for us. I'm only giving up like a Krumar Bonkin for it, so I guess in this case, it's not that bad to pass, or take rather. So I could take Witness. Do I like a 4/4 more, or do I like a War Behemoth 3/6 more? Or do I want a Warrior Disowned Ancestor, which comes down cheap, but it's not amazing. I probably want the War Behemoth since it blocks all of the other morphs pretty effectively. And it's still a reasonable beater with a 3/6 body. I guess that's okay. That's probably better than a 4/4. I feel like a 4/4 doesn't do anything against all the other common morph guys, whereas War Behemoth pretty much blocks all of them, including Pine Walker. So, all right, let's take the War Behemoth. All right, Bellwing Saddlebrute seems like a nice, easy pickup here. Giving up an Alabaster Kieran for it, and a Mardu Skull Hunter, both of which I think would be fine in this deck, but pretty happily taking a Bellowing Saddlebrute. Very strong card there. Let's cut the Great Orn Krushock now. I don't even want to look at it anymore. I don't like that card. Not in this format. I think 3/5 for 5 Siege Mastodon plays fine in core set, but I don't really like it in this format. I probably don't want to end up playing the Boom Keg either. It's more of those cards. It's just a card I haven't tried yet, and I've seen no one else play it. Probably because it's a little bit slow. That would make sense. Whoa, my cats are freaking out. Sorry, my cats were just freaking out. Just freaking all out. All right. Nothing in this pack I care about, unfortunately. Could take Ramparts. It's on color. It's not a very good card. But it's on color. I'll continue to cut. Otherwise, I'm hating a Sultai Charm, which isn't the worst idea. I think I will actually hate a Charm. Usually I don't like hate drafting, but I just really don't see myself playing a Dazzling Ramparts, especially in this deck. Pinewalker is a very strong card. It could be a reason to dip into Abzan, but currently I'm kind of on track to do a decent 2-color deck, which is nice for the mana base. I mean, Pinewalker is certainly significantly better than War Behemoth, but do I even want to dip into... I'm not sure I want to dip into a 3rd color. Might not even be necessary, honestly. Pinewalker is certainly an easily splashable card since it's a morph, but I guess I'll take it. There's still a chance I end up with some Abzan picks. All right, instantly rewarded with the Blossoming Sands, which is nice. There is a Savage Punch in here too, but I'm going to take the Blossoming Sands. Sagu Archer, not impressive on the splash, but I don't really feel like I want to play a Firehoof Cavalry. All right, Incremental Growth seems like a card I can't play on the splash, but I'm not going to take a blue card, so I guess I'll just take it. Siegecraft, don't really need it, but we'll take it. So deck's in a decent place right now. I think we need more finishers. Our removal looks really nice, though. None of these cards matter. Siegecraft for days. Dragon Scale Boon, sure. I don't think we want it, though. In the main deck, at least, but you never know. But yeah, our removal, what is it? Valorous Stance. We have Feed as a Trick, Debilitating Injury, Sustenance, Sandblast, Douse and Gloom, Reach of Shadows. Yeah. Removal does look nice. So I basically took a Pinewalker over at War Behemoth just on the off chance that we end up playing green. And since I have 2 Blossoming Sands already, I don't know how far-fetched that is. If I see good Abzan cards, at this point I can just probably take them. All right, you know, Venerable Lamassu, while not a exciting first pick, seems like a reasonable card for our deck. We have all this early removal, so it'd be nice to have something. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what else honestly, there's like nothing else for us in here besides Venerable Lamassu that I can see. So I think we just take it. Okay, so now there is Timely Hordemate, which brings back some Clerics, which actually doesn't seem bad. And not much beyond that, so I think we're just taking the Hordemate. There's a Woolly Loxodon, which is fine, but I guess I'd rather have the Horde Mate. Hateblade, I think, is going to be quite good for us. There's a Skull Hunter as well. Now, this is interesting. I think with all the removal I have, I'd rather have the Skull Hunter. Skull Hunter is one of those cards that works better with Horde Mate. Not that Hateblade's bad with it, because it's not. But I feel like because we have all this removal already, I probably want the Skull Hunter. But maybe not, actually. I don't know. For now, I kind of want to cut the Sagu Archer, too. I'd prefer to not play that. So Hateblade versus Skull Hunter. Hateblade probably is better. I mean, Skull Hunter bashes in for more, but the fact that Hateblade, like, trades with anything to me is super appealing. I guess I have to take the Hateblade. You know, I remember in Triple Cons having that same dilemma where it's like, would I rather have the Skull Hunter or the Hateblade? I think the Hateblade is actually better, at least for the most of the time. I want to say the Hateblade's better, but that is actually really tough to say. Well, this is interesting. I can take Shambling Attendants. I can take Jungle Hollow, but at this point I'm what? I've got like, unless I want to play Incremental Growth, which, considering how low our creature count is, I'm not sure I want to do that. I could take Jungle Hollow. There's just really not a lot of green cards we have that are... I could just hope to see an Abzan card in the next couple picks if I take the Jungle Hollow, but we're still short a few playables. I could take Shambling Attendants. I don't really like Sage-Eye Harrier all that much. I actually like Shambling Attendants too. I think this card kind of fell out of favor, but I still like it. I guess I'll take it. There's a chance it wields, but whatever. All right, Alabaster Kieran I like quite a bit. I like Scoured Barons too, and Smite the Monstrous would be fine, but I want at least some flyers. We don't have any yet, do we? Yeah, I think we got to take these this Alabaster Kieran. Okay. Guess now we can take Throttle. There's a Chief of the Scale too, though, but our warrior count is a bit low. Maybe I just want it because it's a 2-drop creature, but Throttle is good removal. And if we're playing 18 lands, which maybe we're not this time if we're 2-color, but I don't know yet. Chief of the Scale versus Throttle. That is an actual... A 2-mana 2/3 is nothing to scoff at. We do want a good creature count for Harsh Sustenance. I'd like some early plays. I guess I'm taking the Chief. I think the only reason I'm taking the Chief here is just because we have so much removal already, and I'm a little bit creature light. Not that you can ever have, like, too much removal, but come on, you got to get what I'm saying a little bit here, right? Whoa. My cats are freaking out. Jeez, my cats are freaking out. Could take another Student. I think if I take Student, we're probably playing a 17-land deck, I think. I think we're going to just nix the whole green element of our deck and just play 17 lands, but I guess at this point I need a couple more cards to make it worth our time. With the amount of 1- and 2-drop creatures I have, maybe I play the Abzan Rune Mark? Guess that is an option. Best card here we'll just hate is the War Shrieker. I don't need any of this. Guess I can hate Stubborn Denial. Actually, Dutiful Return's a good sideboard card. I like that one. Alright, Defiant Strike actually seems fine in this deck. Fine, not amazing, but certainly fine. Alright, Salt Road Patrol is pretty playable. Alright, at this point, I'm just going to commit to a 2-color deck. I think that's actually pretty legit with this deck. I mean, granted, we have Venerable Lamassu, Dead Drop, and Shambling Attendants, but 2-color, I just feel a lot more. And we have a relatively low curve, and we're going to be playing spells to make these guys cheaper, I think. I think we'll hate the Disdainful Stroke here. Quiet Contemplation, I guess. Banner, sure. So, pros and cons of this deck. Pros are, our removal looks really good. Like, some of the best removal I've probably had in a long time. Downsides of this deck. Downsides are nothing like flashy. No like real flashy bombs. I may actually play Abzan Runemark over something, just because we have enough like 2-drops to probably support it. Maybe I don't really need Defiant Strike in this deck. I'd probably rather play an Abzan Runemark. We only have 14 creatures, granted, but this is interesting. This is like a 3-drop. Quite a few 4-drops though. But being 2-color, I guess being 2-color makes it a lot easier to play 17 lands, I think. I don't think I can really lower the curve of this deck necessarily. I could cut a 4-drop for a Defiant Strike. I'm not really feeling it. I mean, this deck looks good like this, I think. Like, our pricey stuff gets cheaper when we make some early trades or play removal. We're only 2-color. I think the 2-color factor of the deck is really what's motivating me to want to do 17 lands. And as easily as I could splash for Pinewalker, as easily as I could splash for Pinewalker with the Blossoming Sands, I really don't think it's necessary. I think we have enough good stuff in black and white where I can pretty easily get away with a deck like this. So let's look at our color. So much more white than black, but we probably do like a 10-7 split or something. I mean, our early game is primarily white, so yeah, I mean, I could do 9-8, but I think 10-7 is pretty good, actually. I think 10-7 should be fine. Overall, they want to do, I don't think that. 10-7's more up my alley. Overall, I think this deck's good. Like I said, our removal's great. Our finishers are a bit lackluster, but we've got the Scale Guard, we've got Lamassu, we have Shambling Attendants, we've got Saddle Brute, which is a pretty big boy. Abzan Runemark can make one of our dudes kind of crazy. Like this guy turns into a 5/8 Vigilance, which is pretty big. I kind of like that if you put Runemark on an Outlast guy, your Outlast guy can attack and then Outlast. That's kind of interesting, actually. Haven't seen that done yet, but that seems cool. I'm glad that we got the Lotus Eye Mystics, so for the possible debilitating injury synergy. Yeah, this deck looks perfectly satisfactory. Not terribly exciting, but I think it's one of the first time, it might actually be the first time since Fate Reforged came out that I did straight up 2-color. I'm not sure I've been able to do that any other time, so that in itself is kind of interesting, but we'll see how this plays. It seems like we could outvalue people just because we have a slightly lower spell count and a very good, set of removal. So, all right, we'll see you round 1.